Hello and welcome to my very first Unreal Engine tutorial. It is also my very first tutorial at all. I'm sorry for maybe the bad audio quality. I just grabbed the nearest headset I could find, and I'm also German, so I'm sorry for maybe the heavy accent. Anyway, I want to show you how you can save and restore ragdolls in Unreal Engine. There are many tutorials how to make ragdolls in the first place, and also many tutorials on how to save a game, but there is no combination of the two. Um, I won't go over topics like saving a game or like making a ragdoll. I'm expecting that you already know that and that you probably have or already have a proper save system in place. This is just very basic what I'm having here. So this is just like the third person template. We can move around. We have an NPC in quotes. When I'm shooting it, it's dying, so to speak, or like gets turned into a ragdoll. I can save the game, I can load it, it reloads the map, and of course the NPC respawns, but we want to, oop, wrong button, we want to keep this mess. How are we doing that? First of all, um, so this is the NPC blueprint I have here. If it takes any damage, it triggers the death sequence. The death sequence says make ragdoll, which is just grabbing the mesh and simulate physics on it. Nothing too fancy, nothing complicated. I just want to show you how to save and load. So first of all, we have to do a new struct. Go wherever you want. Right-click Blueprint, Structure. I'm naming this struct Ragdoll Data. You can name it however you want. In there, we are having two values. We have the Ragdoll Transform, which is the actual skeletal mesh, and we are having Ragdoll Pose. And this is of type snapshot pose. Oop, or pose snapshot. This is a struct which you can find, or like it's safe to find. It's fine to save to the save game file. That's completely fine. So back in our NPC, what I will do is I make a new function, which I call get ragdoll data. And in here, we will be doing two things. First of all, we grab a mesh. We are getting the transform. Uh, get world transform. Should that be? We promote that to a local variable. Global transform. And now the real thing is we are grabbing our mesh again, like the skeletal mesh. We are getting the animation instance or anim instance. And in here we have the function snapshot pose. We're plugging it in. And what this function is doing is it is taking a snapshot of the current animation of the skeletal mesh, which means it saves all bone positions in this can be very huge struct. However, this is a reference we have here, so we are tracking this out, promote to local variable in this case, and I just name it local snapshot. And then we are doing a return node. And in there, we are returning the Ragdoll data struct we had just created. So it should pop up here, struct Ragdoll data. Oops. And in here, we drag this out. We make struct data. And I'm plugging in my two local variables. Compile, save. That is done. Now in my game instance, this is my save function here. Again, very dirty. Nothing you should actually do. And I'm grabbing the actor of my NPC class. There's only one in the level. Of course, you would do this like more fancy with like a map and like identifiers and everything, but this is not the point here. So I'm grabbing my one instance. I am saying get me the ragdoll data. Then I have to actually go into the save game object here. I have my player transform here, and now I make a ragdoll data variable here. Struct ragdoll data. Compile save. Grabbing the save game object. Set ragdoll data. Boom. So now we are already saving, but how are we loading? Also fairly simple, but again, weird. So we actually need a new animation blueprint. So click wherever you want, animation, animation blueprint. It wants to know the skeleton. Since I'm using the default Unreal skeletons, I'm just saying, yeah, mannequin. Create one. I just named this ABP NPC dev pose. Don't worry, there will be not much logic in here. So this is the output pose we have, or like which should be done. We are tracking on the result and saying pose snapshot. Now in here it wants a name now. However, on the top right you can say snapshot name pin and then click on exposure spin so it vanishes. And on the next one snapshot, click on bind exposure spin because that is the very same structure. Also on the mode, you have to switch from name snapshot to snapshot pin, otherwise it still wants to get the name. And then dragging this out, we are promoting this to a variable. I just leave the name snapshot here. That's basically it. That's all you have to do in the animation blueprint. It is just important that you take this correct skeleton, otherwise the data gets corrupted probably. Now, how do we tell our NPC like, hey, you should set your ragdoll data or like load in the stuff. So I make a new function here, set ragdoll data. And I actually want my structure here. It already automatically took it. It's the structure we just created. And what we want to do first is we are grabbing the mesh. We are setting the animation instance class. And we are grabbing the one we had earlier created, our dev pose. That is important, otherwise it won't work. Next up, or like just drag in the mesh again. Get animation instance this time. And we are wanting to do a cast. We are casting to the ABB dev pose we just created, so we can actually set the variable. So drag this out, set snapshot was it called, yeah. And we are grabbing our ragdoll data here. So I like to actually break this down here. Ragdoll pose. Plug that in. That is that, and actually, that shouldn't matter actually. I also have to move the mesh to set transform. Set what transform should it be? Or like could have just vector transform. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now, how to call this? I make that always in the begin play of my NPC. So this should now, or like, we are basically calling the game instance here. So the game instance loads the stuff into a save game object reference for this example, and we want basically the game instance to return that data. So I make a new function also in the game instance, get NPC data in this case, and I'm saying, is my save game object valid like us, and did we actually save or load previously? If it is, we are grabbing get rectal data, yeah, enter, and I'm just adding a bool from me, which says like I found the data, rectal data, we have found it, and yeah. Now in here, back in the NPC, we cast to our instance, game instance. So this is just my way of doing it. Maybe you have like a better save system in place or something. Then you have to like, change that up. But the principle of saving and restoring is the same. Um, and get what get called NPC data. And if it was found, you're saying set rectal data. Yep, there we go. So this should work now. Let's test it. So he dies. We are saving. I move away just to show off, and we are loading again. And there he is. So now physics are not really enabled here yet. We can actually do that. The thing is, okay, I did a little mistake here actually, because I said set rectal data. That's a function. It's not too bad actually. It's fine. I just make a new event here. Custom event. Restore vector, I call it. The thing is, we need a delay node for this to probably work. So instead of red sect vector is fine actually. We can leave that as that. We just restore vector here. Then delay 0.2 is fine, and then we call our make vector function again. So basically, we now post mesh gets physics enabled again. The problem is just like when I load this. Yeah, there we go. The problem is that we need a delay node. Is if I remove this, the NPC tends to get a bit stuck in the ground, and then physics get immediately enabled, and it just flings around a little bit. Oh, it actually worked this time. Oh, never mind. I just noticed it in my game that you have to do a delay node. Well, that's up to you then, I guess. But yeah, that's how you properly save and load Ragdolls in Unreal Engine. Again, I'm sorry if I maybe was too quick in some parts. I hope it was okay in the speed. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I'm again my very first tutorial. I'm a little bit nervous too. But yeah, I hope it was helpful. And yeah, thank you for watching.